Hello YouTube. Today I will be working on a MacBook. This MacBook is a A2338, so it's an M1 MacBook Pro, and it has been sent in for a no power fault. So when we plug the charger in and turn on the bench power supply, we get almost no current draw. The charger is stuck on 5 volts. So let's pop the back off and see if we can see anything interesting. Okay, battery's unplugged. But none of the screws are missing. It has no marks on it to suggest someone's been in here before. So that's good. Okay. First thing I'm going to want to do is check for a short on PPBUS. You need PPBUS followed by 3V8 AON to power the PMICs, which then power the M1 chip, which then communicates with the CD3217s. So if any of that stuff is missing, you're not going to get 20 volts on the charger. So let's start there with PPBUS. And the resistance to ground is 27 ohms. That is a weird resistance to ground. It's not dead short, but it's definitely lower than it should be. Let's just have a quick look. The board looks pretty clean. So with a short circuit at 27 ohms, if I inject power, it's probably not going to produce any heat, and it might actually just disappear entirely, and I want to try and avoid that. So I'm going to take the board out and give the backside a bit of an inspection, see if we can see anything, and then we can go through how I'm going to try and find this short circuit without using the bench power supply or a thermal camera. Okay, first thing I want to do is recheck the short, because it could have been the trackpad, but it wasn't the trackpad. We've still got 27 ohms to ground there. Okay, so MacBooks, they have these shunt resistors dotted around the place. You've got one here, and quite a lot of the time they are 12 volts going into a regulator. So this spot's going to be 12 volts. It's going to go through this shunt resistor, which is going to measure the voltage drop and go to a sensor here, so it can determine how much current this regulator is using. So what we can do with a low resistance short circuit like this is start moving these current shunts over, and so that disconnects this circuit. So if we have a 27 ohm short on this cap and we remove this shunt, we will not get a short on the main PPBUS rail anymore. The next thing that's good to know is I'm going to suspect that it could be dirt under a BGA. So if we look at the board view and look at any BGAs that may possibly have 12 volts on them, that's a really good place to start. So we've got what should be a shunt here, and this feeds the audio amplifiers down here, which do have 12 volts on them. So I think the fault's probably going to be the audio amps. I've seen this a few times before. And then we've got 2 more audio amps on the back. So I'm gonna raise the microscope and see if I can see under those amplifiers, see if there's any dirt under there first. Those look okay. On the other side. Okay, they don't look too bad either. I'm not seeing anything super obvious. But because I suspect the audio amps, I'm gonna get rid of the bridge for that shunt resistor. So this here, this is the pads where a shunt resistor should be. But they didn't populate it. This was just for development. So they didn't actually use this current sensor. As you can see, if I just scratch away at the middle there, it's just a copper bridge. But we can still disconnect this circuit by just slicing through that copper bridge. Just lifting the trace a little. There we go. Now I'm going to recheck resistances. And on the main PPBUS rail, we're no longer short. Cool. And on the audio amplifiers we are. Which leaves me most likely some dirt under you or you. Now, I can't see with the microscope which one it's going to be, which is a little frustrating. But all that means is we're just going to have to remove one, and we've got a 50% chance of resolving the short. Let's cover the connector. Hit it with some heat. Whoa, I looked away for a second and all of those components have just disappeared. Whoops. And that amp looked fine. I bet the short's still there. Yep. Okay. I picked the wrong one. My soldering is not very good this morning. Huh. That amplifier looks okay as well. Is the short gone? The short's gone. Maybe there's a tiny bit of dirt there. Anyway, so there's a reason that I don't want to inject any power into this kind of short circuit, and that's because if there was dirt under these audio amplifiers, the ball right next to PPBUS is a reset signal that can get quite easily damaged if it shorts to PPBUS. So I don't want to inject power because I could be sending power down into a sensitive signal. Anyway, let's clean these up, get these audio amps replaced, and see if it turns on. Where did that come from? I am really not doing well soldering today. Well, it's by no means perfectly wicked, but I'm having trouble soldering today for some reason. Do you ever get it where you just have a bad soldering day? You're just a bit shaky? Well, today's one of those days for me, so that's gonna have to do. I'm gonna get some amplifiers pulled off a donor and rebuild and get them put back on. See what happens. Okay, still no short, which is good. So let's fix this trace cut. Just fold that back over. And put just a tiny blob of solder over it. Okay, we now get 20 volts on the charger. Not sure if you'll be able to see that, but the current's increased. Yeah, and it looks like it's turning on. Cool. Let's get the board back in the chassis and see if it displays.
Nice.
There we go, with a nice little chime as well. So that's a good sign that the audio is working properly now. There we go, bit of TOS. And yeah, everything's looking good so far. So I will put the rest of the screws back in this one. I will give it a full quality control test, make sure it's all happy, replace the missing keycap, and get this one back to the customer. So, I hope you enjoyed watching me struggle to solder those audio amplifiers. Hit that like button if you learned something, and subscribe to watch me forget how to solder on camera. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.